This light globe shattered in one of my rental houses. I could replace it with something like this, but it'll still have poor lighting and look a little outdated. Or for the same price, we could install this and it'll put out twice the light and look a lot better. First, turn off your light switch to kill the power. Now take out your light bulb because you're going to need to access these screws. Reverse them, but just a little bit. You don't need to take them out. Now twist the whole light towards the big holes and it should pop out of place. There we go. Now that we're going to be messing with wires, let's verify that the power is off. It's actually best to turn off the whole breaker. If you don't want to flip off your breaker, go ahead and test your tester first on an outlet to make sure it's working properly. Now just bring out the wires and disconnect them from the wire nuts. Now disconnect the ground wire. I like more room to work in my box, so I connect my ground wire directly to the light. So I disconnect the ground of the box too. That's just the way I've done things, but if someone gives me a good logical explanation why not to do that in the comments, I'd be happy to hear and reconsider. Now we just remove these screws to take off the old bracket. You want the hole in the middle where the rod screws into to be like this, so make sure it's oriented this way. Now screw your bracket into the ears of this box. Now start the mounting screws a couple threads. These will be the longer set in your kit. What's next is take a look at your wire nuts and throw them straight in the garbage. You can use them, but it's a lot more frustrating and dangerous for DIY and homeowners to use them if you don't do it right. Instead, these are lever nuts, and this saves a lot of time, frustration, safety, and headache. And they're probably one of the top 10 or 20 things I own tool related. Take off these wire ends and give the wires a good spin with your thumb and finger. So as you can see, you've got one ground wire, two black wires, and two white wires. Now remove these little circle insulation pieces. This is where the screws come in, and I just took all four out because why not? Now go ahead and put a 3-stall wire lever nut on the black and the white. To do this, all you do is literally push it in until it bottoms out, and then you put the lever down. You need a 3-wire lever nut for these two. For the ground, you can just do a 2-wire lever nut. Connect your 2 stranded wires that come with your light into the lever nut that has the black wire connected to it. Make sure all of the strands get in there and have a good connection. And now you do the same with your white wires. So once again, you stick it in until it bottoms out and clamp down. Make sure all the stranded wires are in there and that the wires aren't sticking out of the wire nut. And do the same with the ground. These lever nuts are transparent, so this is what you want to see. If the wire is stripped too much, you may need to cut some off the end so that it's not sticking out of the lever nut. If you're unsure of your work, you could put light bulbs in and test to make sure they work, but we're just going to move forward. Now stick your wires safely up into the box. Now to put the base on, you're going to want to line up these screws with the screw holes and push straight up. Now start screwing them in, but not too much. I usually stop when it starts sucking the plate towards the ceiling. Now that it's nice and tight, go ahead and screw your rod in. I like to have at least 5 threads worth screwed in here because this is the only thing holding up your glass from falling. And it doesn't hurt to get a little past hand tight. Screw your light bulbs in and give her a test. Nice. Now take off the nut and the lock washer and put your globe in. Make sure the globe is centered and in the groove and put your lock washer on first and then put your nut on. You just want to put the nut on hand tight. You don't need to use any tools. And this is just a decorative piece that gets put on last. Now that you've installed this light, click on the video in the bottom right hand corner to change out an outlet and the top right hand corner to tour my tool bag.